Take it easy, fella. My name's Handy. Maybe I can help you. Now, what's your trouble? You just didn't do it right, Bobby. It's easy if you do it right. Now.
These are not only exciting, but tasty as well.
This is the Morning Stream with Scott Johnson and Brian Ibbett. Big ol' freaking dirt blanket.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to TMS. It's the Morning Stream for March 27th. It's Thursday, and it is the year 2025. I'm Scott Johnson. That's Brian Ibbett. Hi, Brian.
Hello.
Hello.
We have officially crossed into Hawaiian shirt zone.
Must be that time of the year.
March 27th, 76 degrees today for a high. So, by golly, we're cranking out the Hawaiian shirt.
Yeah, it's nice and warm today. It's beautiful.
It is. Not going to stay warm. I think we're supposed to get snow over the weekend, but
oh shit,
whatever.
I didn't. Yeah. Maybe we have cold coming too, and I didn't know it. But
it must be because we usually get your leftovers.
Yeah.
So
right now it's real nice. My sister is here in town. She will not be in office though for her segment today. She'll be from my sister's place. She has to work with client stuff and just couldn't do it here. So you will hear from Wendy today, but it will not be physically here like we had hoped. I have good news though. While Amy and Chuck are in town next Tuesday for her Read This segment, she will be sitting right there.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Cool.
It'll be super fun.
So Amy and Chuck will be in studio with
at least Amy.
With Wendy, or
no. Wendy.
Oh, Wendy's gone before then. Okay, so it's going to be Amy and Chuck, or Amy in for her segment on Tuesday.
There you go.
Gotcha.
Yeah, Wendy for Read This. Amy will be here. Wendy, I don't know where Wendy will be Tuesday.
There was a pronoun, a her pronoun. I wasn't sure who to assign it to.
Sure. But she'll be sitting there and telling us what to read. I don't know where Chuck will be. I think we should make him sit on that couch over there because it would put him in the background and he'd just be kind of sitting there like this. It'd be kind of cool. I don't know.
He needs to be the guy in the old Tom Green show who just sat in the window holding a cup of coffee the entire time.
Yeah, like that. That's what I'm thinking. It'd be just like this weird, because we have a skeleton over there right now that's on screen when Kim or Carter are on. We'll just replace the skeleton with Chuck and have him sit there with a mug.
Chuck.
Yeah. I think that'll happen.
Chuck loves coffee. It's perfect. Everything works.
Exactly. Yeah. They're having a good time here. I haven't been able to see him yet. We'll be seeing him this weekend, but they've been busy with their pottery convention and sent me some really cool pictures. There's people making some wild stuff over there.
Oh, cool.
That I wouldn't normally call, like, she could have said, hey, these were 3D printed on somebody's resin printer and then painted, and I would have said, oh, yeah, cool, that is what that looks like. But it's pottery, and it was put in a kiln, and somehow looks that good.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I'm used to things being a little lumpy and dumpy when you do it in a kiln, you know?
For sure, yeah. And I'm used to things being, if you throw it on a wheel, it's got to be symmetrical and lathed, right? Like it's kind of got to be even all the way around, and then you just stick a handle on one side. So I'm not used to things that aren't symmetrical.
Yeah, it was a bunch of retro futurism looking, cool. Like Star Wars prop looking stuff. Really cool stuff. So anyway, excited to hear more from them. Nice. Been a very busy morning, but I have some things to tell you. First of all,
tell us.
We gotta clear this up and talk to an English expert about the how come thing.
Fantastic.
Les from all the way over in Prague, right? Where he just dances every night at some rave. Because that's all, I'm sure that's all he does is go to raves.
Bring us the check.
Yeah, bring us the check. It's like, I always picture like John Wick style raves where he lives. I'm sure this is just a stereotype.
Totally. That's all we think about with that part of Europe.
I can't help it. There's always something, in Bruges shit's going on or whatever.
I just picture Baron Zemo, sitting there dancing in a corner while everything's going on.
Yep, it's where all the vampires stay up real late, all that kind of stuff. So Les writes in or calls in and said this about the term how come.
Hey, Scott and Brian, it's your friend Les, your Prague correspondent and resident English teacher calling in. You were talking about how come and why we use that. And I'm not going to talk about that. I think some of the listeners already gave you some info on that. But I want to ask you guys this question. Do you know what do you know what phrasal verb means in English? And the second part of that question is, can you explain or provide a phrasal verb? I'll call in with the answer so that we make this a little bit of a game.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so
cool.
in my effort to not spoil myself on calls.
Yeah. You thought he was going to explain how come.
Yeah, I see. I get a translation, and early in the call, it says, I think he even put it in the subject. So I went, oh, okay, cool, download, save, don't listen to it, do it on the show. I didn't realize we were going to get a pop quiz. So let's do the pop quiz.
That's great.
Phrasal verb.
Yeah.
Do you know what a phrasal verb is?
Phrasal verb. I mean, I'm guessing it's a verb maybe that gets its origins from a phrase. So what's an example? Geez, I can't even think of a good example. Like something that's added to the lexicon based on a common phrase, and then we just basically adopt the verb. Xeroxing something.
I see.
I'm going to go Xerox this thing.
Okay. Yeah. No, what? That sounds right to me. I don't think I can add to that. That sounds right. You will. What's another example of that? You would Xerox.
I know.
A great
it's purely a guess. Yeah. Like I'm going to scissor. No. I'm going to. Good resist.
I know it's hard not to. What's another one? Like, you can't Band-Aid something. Maybe you can.
Right.
I'm going to.
Yeah. Boy.
Why can't I think of another one? Xerox is perfect because it's the brand.
It doesn't have to be a brand name. Like there's things where we've adopted a noun into a verb. Shoot.
I can't think of one. Chat, what do you say? Anyone got one?
They say turn off the pre-show logo.
Oh, that's definitely not.
That's what they're saying. Oh, Google. Good one. Yeah,
Google it. Google something. Yeah. Oh, that's perfect. How did we not think of that? Okay. Yeah. All right.
It's good.
So we like that.
It's still basically a guess. Like I could be completely wrong, but it's my guess of a phrasal verb.
All right. Let's find out. Here's his follow-up.
So you do have part two.
I do have part two. Just found it, and we're going to go ahead and play it here. Did a little conversion while we were talking. There we go. All right, check it out.
Hey, Scott and Brian, it's Les again with the answer. So phrasal verbs are simply verbs that have an extra word, usually a preposition, added to them. So, for instance, look forward, as in, I am looking forward to the show. That is a phrasal verb. And we use it that way to express our desire, our interest to listen to the show. We're excited about it. That's what phrasal verbs are. And I don't think most people in the United States ever learn what they are, but we all learn the phrasal verbs because we use them every day. Looking forward to, looking into, look out for, going out.
Watch out.
Things like that.
Mm-hmm. Watch out's a good one.
For non-native English speakers, phrasal verbs are extremely confusing, and my students are always mystified. Why do you say that? How do I use it? Anyway, thought that would be interesting. Did you get the answer? Oh, I'm sure I'll find out on the show.
No, we did not.
No, we did not. No. We came up with something completely different that I'm sure has a completely different name. You know, it's funny because I kept seeing in chat, Gknee saying, wrap up, give up, get away. And I'm like, God, this segment isn't going on so long that we need to get Gknee here telling us to end it in the segment.
She was just giving us examples of phrasal verbs.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Gknee, I love that you did that. First of all, because it's easy. But see, that actually goes to his point, doesn't it? It's confusing.
Yeah.
Even when you're an English speaker and you don't have context, it's confusing. It sounded like Gknee was telling us to freaking hurry up. But what she was really doing was giving us some prime examples of the usage.
She was helping us. Yes.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, I guess I've never known what those are called. They just naturally come out of your face hole. But if you're somebody out there and you hear the word "we're going out," that doesn't mean anything. That's weird unless you
go out. Yeah, go out is one. Yeah, for sure.
That's a weird thing to hear if you don't know English, or if you're trying to learn English and you're trying to understand why we're using those two words.
Right. And so I'm guessing that how come would fit into that, because you know come is the verb, but how come is the preposition that goes with the verb come. How come?
Yeah. And to his original example, looking forward. Yeah. That's an interesting one because those two words imply, if I don't know English or if I don't understand what these are, I look at it and go, that sounds like a very specific direction. Where are you looking? I'm looking forward.
Right.
But what you're not really saying, where are my eyes locked? It's saying what you are excited about a thing.
Forward in time. Yes.
Yeah, it's so weird.
I am looking forward in time to seeing all of you in Las Vegas in a month.
Yeah. Taking a dump, says Matuba. Yeah, I guess. I guess that one counts. But,
oh my God. We are at the 1 month. It's the 27th, and the 27th of April is going to be the Sunday before everything really gets going, before the event officially starts with the podcasts and stuff going on Monday, and the actual swingers event.
This never sounds right, does it? Never sounds
the
right.
Average Swingers Mini Golf, sponsored by the Average Swingers podcast.
Yeah. And we're all good on that one still, right? Everything's settled for that?
We're good. We're set up. I wonder, I haven't looked in a while to see. I know we fully booked the 6 p.m. slot. Man, I hope all of you I hope everybody's booked. Let's see. That wants to book, I should say.
Yeah, some people may not.
Las Vegas, 4 guests. I'm just going to do that. Search availability. April 28th. So we have sold out 6 p.m. There's very few 6:30 p.m.s left. So we are getting everybody. We are going to fill that freaking course with tadpoolers all at the same time. It's going to be great.
Yep. And those people have no idea just how good this will be for them, business-wise and everything, and without having some weird arrangement or fee-based bullshit. Right. It's going to be great.
Exactly. Yep. And guess what? So the 29th, still haven't unlocked those times, so whatever.
Yeah. That's great. Well, anyway, thank you to Les. And if you guys want to be like Les, be like him, and send us calls, voicecast.app/TMS. Look, he's in Prague. Look how easy that was. Picked up his phone, went to that place on the web. Didn't have to log in. Doesn't need an account.
No long distance call.
No.
And listen to that quality. That is some Prague quality.
Yeah.
That's some Prague rockin' quality.
Whenever he calls, I assume he's like outside. Listen to this.
Hey, Scott and Brian, it's your friend Les.
I always hear like, city, little car. Like it's very, we feel like we're there,
I picture that he's out like on a patio or something, like, he's got a really sweet townhome with a patio that overlooks the city. I'm sure it's, I'm dressing it up, but that's what I visualize. Just this nice little outdoor spot.
In my head, Prague is never anything but night.
It's always night. It's like a Blade Runner town.
Yeah, kind of Blade Runner-y a little bit. Not entirely, but like Eastern European Blade Runner-y, if that's such a thing. I picture him on that porch like you're talking about, sipping some sort of black tea concoction, and he's dabbing he's dabbing with alcohol while he's talking to us his fresh vampire bite that he's got right here. He's just going
okay, sure.
Hey, you got to keep it clean.
And hoping that Wesley Snipes shows up at some point.
Yeah, for the nightclub that night, because they all, they're always looking for a fresh mortal.
Sure. That's right.
There's no party without the mortal.
A new blood bag. They all just looking for a new blood bag.
Well, anyway, thank you, Les, and we appreciate anybody sending that stuff, and including this question. I'm going to switch these around and talk about this. Comics question from Steve. Steve says, he sent this through the same system. He says, hey, Scott, because you can do text as well. Did I mention that? You don't have to use your voice if you don't want to.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. The magic of modern technology in the palm of your hand. Steve says, hi, Scott. I know you're a big fan of post-apocalyptic stories, and I was wondering if you've ever read the original Old Man Logan story in Wolverine Volume 3, Issue 66 through 72, plus Giant-Sized Wolverine 1. The answer is to that, before I finish, is yes. I have read it, and I love it. It's one of my favorite things in the world. If you have read it, what did you think? Well, you just heard what I thought. I love it. It's one of my favorite things in the world. It says, if you haven't read it, I strongly suggest you check it out. Take care, Steve. I'm going to go ahead and say to the world, if you haven't read Old Man Logan, it is fantastic, even if you don't like what-ifs normally or post-apocalyptic this or that. Even if you... I don't want to spoil it. There's some awesome side characters in it. I'll say that.
Yeah, we can say Old Man Quill comes up.
An old man
either later on or as part of that original storyline.
Yeah, Old Man Barton shows up. We'll say
right.
It's very good. It is one of my favorite things Marvel ever published, and so I will use this opportunity, Steve, to reiterate your feelings and tell the world they should read Old Man Logan if you can get your hands on it. It's fantastic. It's on their app if you do the Unlimited thing or whatever it's called, Marvel Unlimited.
I picked up the Marvel Unlimited. I picked up the graphic. Do I have it over here? I do not. I picked up the graphic novel at the Fan Expo last year. There was a vendor that had like 3 graphic novels for $10, and it was like Marvel and DC and Image and then all these other indie publishers. And like, oh my God, this is a good time for me to grab storylines that I have not read and just get the entire run of it. And Old Man Logan was one of those.
So good. It'll also make sense if you've seen the most recent Wolverine Deadpool thing. One of the Logans will make more sense to you.
Right. Yes.
All right.
And it ain't the little teeny tiny short one either.
No, it ain't the little guy. But it also help you understand the movie Logan a little better, because a lot of that, not all of it, but chunks of it are based, especially tonally, are based on that Old Man Logan story. It's so good. Sure. It's my favorite Wolverine shit ever. So go check it out if you haven't. All right. Well, there you have it. Oh, quick follow-up. So we go to Panera as often as we can now because of that Sip Club thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, take advantage of the free drinks.
Brian's great recommendation plus the $3 Tuesday T-Mobile thing was too good to pass up.
Too good to pass up, yeah.
Yeah, so we signed up for that, 6 months of that. I'll probably keep it going after because we really like it. Turns out, here's what I wanted to do this follow-up for. Yeah. We were out last night. We were like, do we have time to go home and make Kim had this plan for dinner. My phone just answered me. Stop it. I'm not talking to you. There we go. Or my watch. And I said, well, where do you want to go? And we thought about In-N-Out or something quick. We just had to hurry up because we were watching Ramona last night. And my sister was coming into town. There's all this stuff going on. We're just like, well, we got to do something quick. And we're like, we're this far out. Let's just go to Panera, free drink, and then let's just eat there. The food's good. Let's just go. Yeah. So we did, and the other thing about that app is they are constantly giving you deals. So it's like $2 off a sandwich, $3 off any salad. And so we go in there, and between the two of us, free drinks, as much of it as we want, any other teas, coffees, soda fountain stuff, lemonades, all that, and 2 combo like half sandwich just soup deals. Or I had salad sandwich, she had soup sandwich. I think we walked out of there spending all of $12.
And you were full, and you had like probably drinks you could take home and finish and all that.
And they were good for us. It wasn't crap food.
Yeah.
So it was like, I can't believe I'm saying this. The first time I've been in a Panera Bread was the day I got the Sip Club. I've never been before.
Right. I remember us talking about it when I started doing the Sip Club here. And it's like, dude, this place is great. Yeah.
It really is great. The only time Kim had been prior to any of this was in New York once, when she was there with her sister, and they stopped at a Panera Bread. And it just was not on our radar. And as it turns out, Panera Bread might be the best deal in chain food. Like
the Sip Club thing for sure. Yeah, especially if you're a daily coffee drinker and you've got one close to you like I do. I did the math. Like I'm paying $14 a month for unlimited coffee, and if I were to buy a bag of ground coffee every month, it would be, and it wouldn't last me the full month. It would last me 2 weeks probably.
Yeah.
It'd be, I'd be spending $30 a month in just the ground coffee alone. And and then every other day you can get a bagel for $1. So I get one 2 or 3 times a week, bring it home to Tina, or I had one today myself. This little cinnamon raisin deal.
They make really, really good bagels. I have a mystery. I have a bagel mystery. I'm glad you said bagel. I totally forgot about this. We went to this same Panera early in the morning a few days ago. I don't remember why we were even out. We had to do something. I can't remember. Anyway, we were out pretty early, and nobody was really there. It's a newer location, so a lot of it is they're still sort of establishing regular clientele and stuff. So it's just kind of empty for a Saturday morning, whatever it was. And we pull up into the parking lot, and I notice out of the corner of my eye just an explosion of bread in the parking lot. Just bread all over the parking lot.
Okay.
Yep. Regular bread, buns.
Pile of baguettes and
Yeah, and bagels everywhere. Just bagels on their side, like tires. Bagels laying flat, half bagels on their face, whatever. It looked like somebody had walked out there with a ton of stuff they just bought and then just got hit by a car or something. Or Actually, I don't have a good explanation. There's a dumpster right over there. If they're throwing
I do have a good explanation. So I see. So when I go in the mornings, as I'm walking out, usually there's a little table right next to the exit that usually has a bunch of bread in a bag, a ton of, like, again, baguettes, bagels, they're smaller size rolls, things like that. And
it's like day olds,
and those
right?
Those are day olds, and those go to some food bank, local food bank or charity or something. And my guess is somebody who came there to pick it up for the food bank set it on top of their car, fished around, tried to find their keys, dropped their keys on the ground, nearly spilled their coffee, opened their car door, got a napkin, wiped up the coffee mess, put their coffee cup in the car, got in, sat down, put the key in the car, closed the door, drove off. All the bread falls off.
This is the quickest we've ever played an entire game of Clue right here on the show. You did? I think
Mr. Green.
Yeah, that has to be it, right?
I think so. Something like that. Because, there was probably, at least the ones here are like light blue bags. There was probably a light blue bag buried somewhere under all that.
Might have been. I didn't notice it. The way it was all, actually, my first thought was, where are all the seagulls? Someone in the chat mentioned it too. I didn't see them. And usually, they
ran so far away.
You've been here when we watch seagulls swoop down, but
that's right.
They're always around, waiting for people to do stuff.
Yeah, that was my first Five Guys experience. That won't get taken out of context.
No. That went back when that was an affordable place to eat, first of all.
That was exactly, yeah. You and I met the dude from our raid team who you gave a computer to. He was taking one of your old computers, and he met us for lunch out there, and we watched a seagull eat part of a Five Guys burger and then I think hork it up somewhere else in the parking lot.
Yeah, and then a dude went out in his truck, stopped, leaned out of his car and vomited into the...
That's what it was. It was, right. It wasn't the seagull puking, it was the dude puking.
Yeah,
right.
And then the seagulls went and, had a moment.
Oh, jeez.
That's what that was. It was really gross.
Ate his pink sauce is what they did. Yes, right.
Kelly, exactly. I got the joke, the Five Guys joke. I totally got it. She says, "Nice one, Brian." Went right over Scott's head. I got the Five Guys joke.
I think it was the seagulls joke is the one she's referring to.
The flock of seagulls? I got that one too.
Yeah, she got that one. Yeah, I heard him chuckle.
Yeah, I like a good. I like a flock of seagulls joke. In fact, I was just watching, for no good reason, yesterday, backgroundy, but I watched Pulp Fiction.
Oh,
and
okay.
There's the scene. I always forget about this. That scene where Samuel L. Jackson and Staying Alive, I can't think of his name all of a sudden. John Travolta, geez. They come walking in there, and there's a guy on the couch. There's Phil Lamar behind them, who's going to have a hard time in the car later. And then there's Brent, or Brett?
Right.
Brett. I think Brett. Sitting there eating his big kahuna, right? So they walk in there, and the guy on the couch starts to move like he needs to get up or whatever, and Samuel L. Jackson goes, no, stay right there, flock of seagulls.
Oh, really?
Because the guy,
I forgot about that too, because he has the hair.
He has a big old hair loop thing from the early 90s. It was freaking great. It was great. His name is Brent, but he says, Ben Whitmer says Brad. No, he just uses the line, look at the brain on Brad, but his name is Brent, or Brett.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. I just watched this last night. But anyway, so it was a timely joke is my point, because I just saw that reference as well. So the flock of seagulls making a double appearance in my life.
Wow, no kidding.
Wild stuff. Anyway, the point is, I guess if you're going to leave your bread in the parking lot, that should be a new phrase. Instead of spill your tea
spill your candy in the lobby.
Yeah, dump all your bread in the parking lot.
Dump all your bread in the parking lot for the birds.
Yeah, just let us all know your info. All right, time for some news. And you all ready for some news? Well, if you're not, that's tough poo, because here it is. It's time for the news brought to you by
Coverville, firing up here at noon Mountain Time, twitch.tv/Coverville. The music of AC/DC. Yeah, Angus Young is turning 70 on the 31st, just a few days from now. And he and his brother Malcolm founded the band that we know now today as AC/DC. So covers, of course, of every single AC/DC song that you'd want to hear. Plus, one of those rare covers by AC/DC, a band that's not known for doing a lot of covers. I've got one of their early 1974 covers. And so that would be before, I think, well before Brian Johnson joined the band.
Oh, yeah.
Because he was 80s, right?
Yeah,
was his first album?
late 70s, early
Late
80s?
70s, maybe?
Yeah, I don't remember when What's-His-Name died. It would have been, I think that's right. Black and Black was the first one, right?
I think it was the first one with him. Yeah, Bon Scott would have been the Bon Scott years.
Right. Yeah, he passed, I want to say.
The late, great Bon Scott.
Oh, man, what a band in general, though.
Yeah.
Freaking jeez. And when he died, when Bon Scott died, I remember being pretty young and going, well, that's it. That's it for AC/DC. We're not going to, that ain't going to go anywhere. Then Brian Johnson joins this crew and just blew my freaking mind. I mean, Back in Black is still such an all-timer. I could listen to it freaking now.
Is, absolutely. Like every song a banger. 76. 74 to 76 was Bon Scott. And then...
he died in 80. Is that right?
That's right. I think so. And then let's see here. Brian Johnson joins in 80 and...
same year. Wow.
Yeah.
They didn't really have much of a mourning period there, did they?
No.
Got right to it.
even Bon Scott, his parents told the band that Bon would have wanted them to keep going, so they found a new vocalist and went from there.
Nice. Man, that sounds like a great Coverville, Brian. What time today? Just remind folks.
Yeah, no problem. 12 noon, twitch.tv/Coverville, Mountain Time noon. So, and I'm going to be playing, I think we're just about done with the High Voltage. Oh, no, still have a whole day of High Voltage. So I'll play High Voltage.
Nothing wrong with that.
On Marvel Snap.
My kids went to, two of them went to a high school called Westlake, and Westlake High School, Thor was their mascot. And their song.
Oh, really?
Yeah, their song was that Thunderstruck. All the time you heard it over there.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, you couldn't go to their school for anything without hearing it somewhere in that school. It was if you went to a game, it was before all the games or during the games or during timeouts. It didn't matter. Or if you went to a play or anything else, always before a thing or even just in the halls. I think before their news thing, you know how the kids do a news thing in the mornings? We didn't do that.
Yeah, like a little recorded thing that, yep.
Theirs was live, and before that, they'd play that.
It's great.
They paid nothing to AC/DC that I'm aware of. I don't think they paid a dime.
No, I'm sure. Yeah.
They kept their ASCAP fees up, I guess. I don't know what they did. We got something from Michael. Wrote this in, sent this story, figured it was worthy of doing on the show. So if you have complaints, you can blame Michael. He informed us that a constipated flyer claims enraged United Airlines pilot had him arrested for hogging the bathroom. So this guy was in there a lot trying to, get it.
I mean, he's constipated. I get it,
Sure. Those take longer, as it turns out, the constipated people.
Yeah, exactly. Don't rush. You can't rush that sort of thing.
No. The definition of constipated, I think, is that it's slow and hard to happen.
Steady. Wins the race.
Anyway, a New Jersey man, also constipated, was flying home from Mexico, claims the cabin crew became upset that he was monopolizing the plane's lavatory. I hate that word, lavatory.
Lavatory,
yeah,
sure.
It's like gymnasium. Freaking hate it.
Doesn't it feel like... But it feels like the only place you ever hear lavatory is on a plane, because they do say if the rear lavatories or do not block the aisle while you're waiting for the lavatories and stuff like that. That's the only place I feel like they still use that term.
Yeah, I think it's the only modern place. I can't think of anywhere else. Nobody, when we were all going to school, often teachers would say, if you need the lavatory, you come get a hall pass or whatever. It was a term you heard as a kid. In modern society, it's only planes, or maybe the trains do it, the ones that are like passenger long distance trains. I don't know, but I don't know. It's weird. Let's go back to water closet. Let's get the WC.
Is it lavatory? I thought there was an extra R. I thought it was lavatory. It's lavatory?
I think it's lavatory, isn't it? Not lavra or lava?
Yeah, I think it's lavatory.
Well, it should be.
It is lavatory. No extra R in there.
I wish it was laboratory. That'd be cool.
Or lava, because that's what's coming out of you. Lavatory.
Yeah, lava. That guy wishes he had some lava coming out.
I know. I keep saying lavra. I'm correcting myself.
Prompting and
I'm probably combining with laboratory. I totally am. Laboratory and lavatory. Sure.
Yeah, that makes sense. You can poo you can poop in both places if you really need to.
If you have to. One of them you might get tested on.
Let's see. This prompted an enraged pilot to break down the bathroom door, yank the pantsless traveler off the toilet, and dress him down in a shocking anti-Semitic tirade while nearby passengers gawked. Feels like there might be some bigger issues going on in this plane.
I think so. Yes, I feel like. Wow.
Yeah,
there was this goes well beyond the toilet being occupied, the lavatory being occupied.
It's not helping with my bad attitude about United Airlines either. I freaking hate that airline. I never have a good time on there. Never good experience.
It's so stupidly expensive.
It's expensive for no reason. It's also usually a bad experience for me. I've had to run from opposing terminals many times because they screw up. I hate them. Yeah. No United, no American, and no Lieutenant Yar.
Lieutenant Yar. This trip to Vegas, by the way, next month is going to be the last flight I take on Southwest before they get rid of their open seating and free luggage.
Oh, right. That's all changes
after in like May or June.
Can you believe they're going to dump their defining feature of no assigned seating?
It's so bizarre. And their free luggage is like one of the things that your bag's always fly free on Southwest. That was such a mainstay of their advertising. So for them to give that up too seems surprising.
Yeah. Well, capitalism comes for us all, Brian. It's a hungry beast. Wants to eat us up.
Totally. We can make money by charging for bags and making people pay to choose their seats? Oh, okay.
And slowly removing inches of space for knees over time so that now Scott barely fits in your effing things. Barely I fit. I barely fit in normal coach.
I know. And we're about to, you saw those last year, I think it was. We saw those new seating arrangements where it's like one person, like almost like alternating stadium seating in a movie theater where there's a lower guy and an upper guy. And
you want to talk about hot farts on a plane? F that noise.
Right? Thank you. No.
I'm not. I hate the way that whole industry is headed, but I like Delta. As far as the main ones go, Delta seems to do a good job. They did good care of me on there. I pay a little more, but I always feel like I have a better experience when I do. They have decent benefits, and I don't feel like idiots run the place. So I'll take Delta over any of these other ones. But none of it's great. We don't have a great airline industry. We just don't.
You know that somebody's trying to figure out a way to like make it so that they can have your regular seating on the bottom and then flip somebody over and have basically fit together like an Escher puzzle where have somebody upside down, like for lack of a better term, kind of a 69 position but fully clothed.
Yeah.
Just so they can double the amount of passengers, because there's all that unused space in front of my face now.
Yeah, all this air. All this head air up here. Let's go ahead and just figure out how to Tetris piece everybody into a nightmare scenario. I wouldn't be surprised if they're thinking of ideas like that. Obviously, the one you're talking about, I've seen the levels of seats, like the ones up here and the ones down here.
Those.
And they're serious about that shit. They're just like, this is a great way to do it. This is a great idea. No, it isn't. It's a terrible idea.
It's not. It even makes it worse and more cramped and complicated. You're going to have more angry passengers yanking people out of bathrooms and cursing them out.
Yeah. Starting to, I don't know. I don't know what it means. Usually what it can mean is when things like this get weird, somebody can come in and see a hole and go, you're not providing this anymore, so we're going to do it. And then it makes everything better. I'm holding out for that, but it doesn't feel like it's going to happen. The airline business is a lot like, I don't know, it's the movie business. They're dependent on the theaters. These guys are dependent on the airports. It's all like a big frickin' scam. I hate it.
It is. I'm looking forward to trying my first JetBlue flight. I hear really good things about JetBlue. And,
JetBlue's good. So is the one out of Provo here. I forgot the name. It's supposed to be really good, tiny little thing. So I think smaller regional airlines are maybe the way to go.
Is it Allegiant or no? What's the one
I can't remember. It's out of Provo, the Provo airport. So I don't think they have planes in the SLC International, but I cannot remember the name. My sister uses them to go to everything, and she loves them. My sister Misha, she can't remember. Someone in Provo some Utah County person will tell us. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, this guy got jerked around. I think there's a big problem. They fired that pilot. He sucks. F that pilot.
Yeah.
He's a douche.
Yeah, please do. Yes. Yeah. Good.
I don't like that guy. All right. Let's get to this one. Scalpers. We love them, don't we? We're big fans of scalpers.
Oh, such a great business. If you're, why go to school? Just become a. Yeah, and I can't believe that term is in a headline, because I don't think that's an approved term anymore.
Yeah. What do we use if
ticket resellers or something? I feel like Do we even have a term to replace? I don't think we do. It's probably why it's getting used. I can't think of a replacement term. Gougers? Yeah. That's certainly what they do.
Yeah. Well, anyway, according to this headline, scalpers caught selling free DMV appointments for $250 in Miami.
Jeez.
Wow. When you have to pay to get
demand.
Yeah.
There's such a demand for the DMV that they can do this. Wow. Okay.
Scheduled trip to renew your driver's license in South Florida is so highly sought after. That's nuts to me that you'd assume Taylor Swift was performing live. The Miami-Dade County Tax Collector's Office announced on Monday that it uncovered a network of scalpers who hoarded free DMV appointments and resold them for up to 250 bones. While the office is taking steps to stomp out the exploitative practice, going to the DMV has become a torturous experience that drivers are willing to shell out to avoid in the first place. Why is it so bad? See if there's anything in this article that talks about why there's... Because this sounds like, again, a deeper problem. They need to fix that shit. It says we know that let's see. Why is there? Oh, it's because people wait till the last second to renew their license, and so they know, and they just capitalize on this. Probably. I guess so. Yeah. Is the place always packed? I don't know. Well, I guess the agency has sights set on individuals who are part of local driving schools. So, never mind. They wait and see, like when the driving schools finish up their classes and say, okay, we're going to have a new run of thousands of new drivers who need to get their license, I guess. Yeah. And Florida really not known these days for, wanting to pump up services that work for their people and constituents. No, definitely not. Yes, exactly. I noticed they're not lowering their taxes. They're just limiting what services they'll use those taxes for. It's fantastic stuff. Right. Great government we got on the state and government level right now. Great stuff. Speaking of which, I need to renew my license this year. This is a renewal year for me. I got till 2027, I think. I think. Well, I'll be dead by then. It'll be fine. Yeah, it won't matter. Yeah, exactly. Who will care at that point? Here's a fun story for you. Dogs are cool. We both like dogs. We like them. They're cool. That's a story. I'm fully in agreement with you on that one. Well, Catabomb Okami, the world's most expensive dog, sold for 5.3 million euros last week. Crazy. That's a lot of money. What is this? What kind of things does this dog do? What features does this dog have? She's a wealthy Bengaluru-based dog enthusiast. Bengaluru. 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 It's like Bengalese. Yeah, Bengalese from It's a Bengaluru. But the subhead uses Bengaluru. The text uses Benhaluru. Crazy. I think maybe they screwed up. I think so too. Good job, Euronews. What are you, dumb? Anyway, this guy, wherever that's from, he's a dog enthusiast, made headline news today by buying the most expensive dog in the world. Satish, age 51, paid a staggering 50 crore. What is that? Indian? What is that? I don't know what that is. Anyway, it equals 5.3 million euros is the thing. I don't know what it is in dollars right now. I don't know. I'll figure that out while you're. I'll do the dollar translation while you continue. Yeah, how is the dollar these days anyway? Anyway, for a rare quote unquote wolf dog that is a cross between a wolf and a Caucasian shepherd. I picture a man with a staff. $5.7 million. So pretty close. Good Lord. That's a lot of money for a dog. The wolf hound is 8 months old, stands at 30 inches tall, already weighs 70 kilograms. That's a big, or 75 kilograms, big dog. I spent 50 million rupees on buying this pup. Rupees? Rupees, okay. I guess that is Indian currency, I think. Anyway, I'm buying this pup because I'm fond of dogs and like to own unique dogs and introduce them to India. Well, then there you go. There's India. Satish said, according to The Sun. Indeed, this is not Satish's first extravagant purchase. Last year, he bought a Chow Chow, which bears a striking resemblance to Qingling Panda, for $3 million or 3 million euros. This guy's got.
Are these one of the fake pandas they had in the zoo that were really dogs?
Yeah.
It's just a chow chow.
Also, as far as like the Indian caste system goes, where is a guy who has this kind of money for a dog? I mean, he must be way up there.
I love good dogs. Who's a good boy?
Yeah.
These are good boys, but not 8 million euros worth of good boy.
Now, this line I don't like because I just call bullcrap. It says, a former breeder, he owns 150 different breeds, each rarer than the last. Come on now.
Yeah.
They're just rare dogs. You're not
just rare dogs.
You don't have some like list of them from like a dropping list of rare to least rare. Come on.
Yes, exactly. And it's a chow chow that looks like a panda. I feel like that's not rare. I don't know why you paid 3 million euros for it, but a lot of chow chows look like pandas. You probably could have gotten a bargain somewhere else.
Plus, it's like you get 12 years out of a dog at the max.
Right.
That's a bad investment.
Yeah. If you think about how many euros a day that is for your dog, it's pretty expensive.
I hope they are all overbred weirdo dogs that pee on everything. That's what I hope for this guy.
Yeah.
Let's see. He has this estate. It covers 7 hectares.
Wow. Okay.
I mean,
huge.
That's not even. What is that measurement?
That's
not. Is that part of the metric system, and I just don't know it because it might be.
It's 2.5, nearly 2.5 acres.
Okay.
Is a hectare.
Hectare. Yeah. It's so biblical sounding. Sounds like
it is. It totally is.
Yes.
Yeah.
The size of Noah's Ark was this many hectares wide. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, he says they have plenty of space to romp around. That's great. That's great. Good job there, buddy.
He also says that I spent money on these dogs because they're rare. Besides, I get enough money because people are always curious to see them. They take selfies and pictures. They really don't. They don't take, unless maybe that's why they're $5.5 million is because these dogs are actually able to take their own selfies.
Yeah, every once in a while, Chow Chow sits up and goes. Lame.
Duck face.
Yep. Let me take a selfie. Roof.
Yeah, right.
All right, final bit of news here. Excuse me. A man developed... Oh, no, here we go. Yeah. A man developed a life-threatening infection after eating a feral pig. I've always said, don't eat the feral pigs.
Always say that. I hear you say that all the time, Scott.
It's on my...
Don't eat the feral pigs.
I have T-shirts. It's in my wallet. Whatever, When they find me, they find my body, you'll see nothing but signs around that say, don't eat feral pigs. Florida man in his 70s contracted an extremely rare, life-threatening infection in his implanted defibrillator after eating a feral pig. This happened in 2017 when he ate it. Before cooking and consuming the gift from a local hunter, the man remembers handling the raw meat with bare hands. Well, yeah. I mean, if you're going to handle raw meat, you do the things you need to stay, clean your hands.
Exactly. Yes.
Anyway, so dumb. Experts suspect it was at this moment that he was unknowingly exposed to a sneaky bacterium. It's the worst kind. Yeah. He's all stealthy.
Yes, it is.
Sneaks in, crouches down, hides in the weeds.
Like a ninja.
Yeah.
That thing is.
Whistles. Yeah. You go, what was that? He come over and he stabbed you in the neck.
Ninja bacteria. Yeah.
It says, years later, the man experienced his feverish symptoms, intermittent pain, excess fluid, gross, and a hardening of the skin on the left side of his chest. Sounds like that
He's
game.
rhino. Like a rhino.
Yeah, like a rhino. He needs a backpack like I have. Go see that horrible movie and you guys know what we're talking about.
You should have played right there. Like a rhino.
Like a rhino. Led by infectious disease specialist Jose Rodriguez from the University of Florida. I feel like Jose Rodriguez is never a real name because everyone seems to be called that in movies and TV and stuff. It's like, who's this? Oh, this is Agent Jose Rodriguez.
Feel pretty common, sure. Yeah.
Like a Miami Vice guy.
It's the Latin John Smith, probably, right? The equivalent.
Good point.
Or Joe. Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of Rodriguezes out there. Yeah. When family doctors figured out what was going on, the insidious bacteria infection had already slipped into the man's defibrillator, passing through his chest wall, the left subclavian vein. Subclavian! And into the muscular tissue on his left ventricle. That's not good.
My God. Wow.
So they got to just replace the device.
Yeah, just let this be a lesson. Don't eat feral pigs.
Yeah, don't be doing that.
Yeah. By the way, I can't see the name Rodriguez without thinking of Les Nessman on WKRP in Cincinnati when he pronounced the baseball player Chai Rodriguez.
Oh, man, that's so funny you say that. I was just looking for a place to stream that. I can't find it.
Oh, yeah. It's so many licensing issues because of all of the music that they used on the show.
Yeah.
Like, it feels like, and it's not just a matter of like trying to go in and replace it. It's a matter of like, well, this one's kind of integral to the story. What do we do with that?
Yeah.
You know?
I haven't checked any of my Plex people, so maybe they've got it. I would love to see it.
I'm sure somebody does. Yeah. It was such a great show.
Used to be a fan, yeah. I mean, I think
fantastic ensemble.
I'm sure a lot of it, there's probably some stuff that doesn't hold up, but
I mean, yeah, for sure.
The fashions certainly don't, but the
fashion, but I think also the treatment of Jennifer as just a flat out sex object, lobby candy basically.
Yeah. Who was the main, not Mr. Carlson, but who was the main like second in charge guy with the big hair?
Yeah, it was Gary Sandy as
Gary Sandy,
Travis.
that's it. Travis?
Yeah.
Was it
Randy Travis? Randy Travis?
Can't
I know
be
it's
Randy
a
Travis.
country singer, but
was it Randy Travis?
no, Andy Travis.
I'm gonna love you forever.
Exactly. Yes, Andy Travis.
Yeah, that guy had hair that even at the time I knew wasn't gonna age well. I just knew it.
It wasn't aging well on that show. Like it was out of style before the episode ended.
Yeah, I'd see an episode and go, and I'm like 8 years old going, this isn't gonna last. I just knew it, and it sure didn't. Herb Tarlick for life. All right, that's going to do it for today's news. We're going to take a break. When we come back, my sister will join us. She's in the valley, but not in the house. And we'll address an email we've had for a couple of weeks now. We want to see if we can help somebody out with Therapy Thursday. Before all that, though, Brian's Song, the movie.
The calls won't be coming from inside the house. By the way, do yourselves a favor. If you don't know Jan Smithers from WKRP, she was the true hottie on that show, the girl next door. But
agreed. Look
at a picture of Jan Smithers from her WKRP days and compare it to modern day Taylor Swift and tell me that they aren't, decades separated sisters at birth.
100%. They look like they are related. She was awesome. You're right. She was the one you cared about. The other one,
Bailey Quarters.
The other one was for weirdos and perverts. Bailey Quarters was the one.
Old man. My grandpa liked Jennifer.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people.
So did Burt Reynolds for a little while.
Yeah, for a hot minute. I was always convinced that she didn't have an actual forehead or there was something wrong with it because her hair
should be covered by that.
Always covered. Never showed it.
Yeah.
There's like a big eyeball right in the middle like Sauron or something. I just never got to see it.
Right.
Anyway.
Right. Yes, Lonnie Anderson, thank you. I could not remember her name. I could just remember Jennifer.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to this. Patrick wrote in. Patrick Newbing said, "Hello, Scott and Brian. March 25th this year marks 10 years since the passing of my dad. When I played bass in this band, he pitched the name of a song, just saying he knew that Speed Checked by Radar would make a great song name. And we made it so. This song always reminds me of him, and I would really appreciate you sharing his idea for a song with the Tadpool. So our indie in the middle today is an indie from a band called High Tolerance that a Tadpooler is bassist for.
Nice.
Or was bassist for.
Love it.
This is their song, Speed Checked by Radar, from their album Rock and Roll Child from 2010. Here is High Tolerance.
This is your town crier again. The music fades and the departing celebrants bid us adieu.
Well, you just look like one of those fat little Mexican boys.
And we're back. Who is that again?
Sure, that is the band High Tolerance from their album Rock and Roll Child from 2010. Happy to share listeners' music here with a song called "Speed Checked by Radar."
Yeah, a reminder: if you're a band or singing one, or your brother is, or any kind of connection like that, and you want to hear some of that in the show in the middle, we are open always.
Yeah. Love to hear what you're doing and see if it fits with the show, and if it does, always happy to play it.
Yeah.
Shave Maddox, always anytime his band comes out with a new song, we play it here on the show.
Yeah, I hear his stage performance is amazing because that stage rotates slowly through the entire concert. Just slow rotation of the drummer.
It's kind of like that the stage platform in Hamilton. He just stays put and just rotates around.
Oh yeah, one of those stages would be perfect for him, for his band.
It would, exactly.
Come on, Shane, lean into it. Lean into your meme. Be who you're going to be. All right, let's get Wendy in here. She's at my sister's, so I know she has decent internet. At least one would hope so. And I guess we'll find out the hard way when she answers this call. We have the rings of riggage, not the rings of speakage, but I'm sure they're coming. I just know it. The reason she's not in here, she has clients all day, so that she's sort of slipping this in between, having to work while she's on the road. And so, we may be interrupting a really emotional exchange right now.
God, who knows what we're going to end up with? Yeah.
Yeah,
right.
Who knows? Maybe she'll come in here guns blazing. She came in last night, went straight to my mom's to visit her, and had a nice little visit, and we'll find out how she's doing since she landed. Here we go.
Psychosomatic. That boy needs therapy. Purely psychosomatic. That boy needs therapy. Lie down on the couch.
Lie down on the couch. It's my sister Wendy, who is just across the valley, not very far from us right now. How's it going over there?
I have the same weather you have.
Yeah, it's nice right now. You picked a perfect week because it got warm right when you got here. So
I know, and it'll get back to regular tomorrow.
yeah, gonna get cold again, I guess. But that's good. Are
you on the microphone you think you should be on, by the way?
Do I not sound like normal?
You sound echoey, more echoey than normal.
Oh, it's because I'm in this weird room.
The cavernous, it's one of Misha's cavernous unused rooms, I think, probably.
So I'll try not to.
Nope, it's fine. Knowing that, it's totally fine. I don't want you to worry about it. It did sound different than usual, and I was waiting to hear a toilet flush.
Yeah, you sound like you're in the pooper.
It does. It sounds like I'm in a bathroom. I was thinking I could go into a bathroom. It's the only small room, but then it'll really sound like I'm in a bathroom.
It'll sound more like a bathroom than this one. Yeah,
you're probably the only person who's been in that room. That room's never got people in it. So I know what you're. Are you in the front one where there's kind of stuff in there? There's like
it's like not enough to absorb sound, though.
Yeah, no.
It's one of those things, a toilet?
No.
It's basically a toiletless bathroom.
Yeah. Well, I trust your flight was good and your drive to Provo was all right and all that stuff yesterday.
Yeah, can I just raise my hand and worry about everyone that lives here? It's been a minute.
Yeah.
And I don't often drive south, and I thought I was going to die 20 times. It's 7 p.m.
Yeah.
And the traffic was unbelievable at 7 p.m.
Yeah.
And then I think 20, 30 motorcycles just weaved through these 7 lanes of traffic. Mm-hmm. And then a car goes shooting on the shoulder to pass everyone. And I'm like, what happened?
No, I know I'll tell you what happened. Utah became one of the fastest growing people moving here states, and it jacked everything up. I need him to go back. I need everyone to go back to think we're weird. We all have 20 wives, all the bullshit. Go back to that, please.
Yeah, quit loving the mountains, people. But they do look beautiful. And by the way, good job. Way to dress them up for me.
Yeah, they look really nice right now. They got that sweet snow on top and all that.
And the air is pretty clear.
Yeah,
it's not bad.
It does amaze me to know that Minnesota doesn't have the weird Mad Max Fury Road style traffic conditions that we're seeing here in the West.
Yeah, and we're not the.
I think it's.
The
reality is you have one main way to go south. There's a couple other options, but you're asking a billion people to go on the same road. You're going to get that. Whereas the cities are like, there's lakes in the way. So there's a million ways around. And when say there's like a basketball game and everyone's in town. And then when they disperse, it's like a pinwheel. They all go in 50 different directions. Whereas here, you can go 2 directions.
Yeah, there's this thing we have that divides Utah County from Salt Lake County that we all call Point of the Mountain. It's basically just like this tip over by Draper where it really has been for the longest time, like the only part of it's I-15, but it's the only part of I-15 that is that you can use, really. I mean, that's it, is this one little funnel to get to the rest of the valley down there. And as the state has grown, city has grown, and employment up here, people living down there, they just haven't kept up with that. So there are these alternate routes, but you got to go kind of out where I live to get
really
to the good one, and it's all weird. But yeah, this
is like, okay, we talked about the weather and now traffic. Okay, good. What else should we talk about?
Let's see. No politics. I just can't. My heart can't take it.
Nothing going on there.
No, it's so quiet. Been so quiet in politics.
Exactly.
It's just nothing going on. Well, anyway,
get this weird text the other day. No, never mind.
Get those a lot. Hey, let's get to today's subject, so that I know you've got other stuff going on today, and I don't want to mess with your schedule too much. So we'll get straight to it. I am looking forward to having everybody together this weekend, though. It'll be really nice to see everybody. Here we go. Let's start with this email. We've had it for a couple of weeks. We held on to it. We're going to read it now. We'll say this person is anonymous and say, "Hey, Scott, Brian, and Wendy, I'm reaching out about my 20-year-old son, Michael Jr., an only child who has struggled with social connection since childhood. Though we suspected he might be on the autism spectrum, testing in his teens indicated otherwise. Still, he has difficulty forming relationships, especially in group settings. Since middle school, he has repeatedly expressed frustration with group projects, feeling excluded and compelled to do all the work himself. This pattern has persisted into college. He is highly intelligent and self-driven, putting immense pressure on himself to maintain straight A's. We encouraged team sports early on, but he never fully connected with teammates and dislikes the jock mentality." I kind of agree with him there. In high school, he found a group of cross country, but nearly 2 years after graduating, he has drifted away from them. While I understand friends naturally grow apart, as a very social person, it's tough to watch him isolate himself. Therapy helped with panic attacks in high school, and he plans to start with a new therapist in college. He embraces therapy, but strongly resists the idea of medication. Our biggest concern is his tendency to catastrophize. He mainly shares negative experiences from school, which we worry affects how others perceive him. That said, he has had a girlfriend for over a year, which reassures us that he is capable of connection. We also have concerns about signs of depression, especially given his wife's history, though no therapist has flagged it as an issue. Any guidance or direction would be greatly appreciated. All right. I bet you have a lot of clients like that. I bet this is a common.
Yeah, I bet probably more common these days than ever, right? The isolation and social connections, especially with kids who probably experienced a lot of the pandemic in school. And
this is a 20-year-old, so he was 15.
Yeah, it's a tough time to go through that.
Yeah. Okay, so let's start with just some deep appreciation for parents who care about their kid, and just that wanting them to feel successful and do well in life and have the well-roundedness. Like, clearly this person's not worried about the grades because the kid's doing that himself, but is worried about this sort of social piece, and gave an important hint here, which is, as a very social person, it's tough to watch him isolate himself. So here's somebody who really benefits from other people and having connections and friendships. And so it matters a lot to this parent.
Sure.
And so, starting out with every parent with good intentions, yay. Happy to have you. Thank you for caring. It sounds like they've really done a lot to help this kid be successful. Right? And giving him the help he needs, and
for sure
shown him that he can get help when he needs help, and all sorts of good stuff. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And then here's what I would say. I would ask a lot more questions, but I'll just pretend I know some answers that I don't know. But I would ask the question about their own social stuff, the parents' sort of social needs, because there's a nice spectrum here of how much or how little people need in terms of social interaction, right? From extroverts to the introverts to everything in between, like, what is their experience? And so finding out, we're gonna make an assumption here that this person hangs out a lot with other people and has good buddies for decades and likes to go fishing with his friends, or whatever. And so that all the benefits from that are noteworthy, science-backed, like we all agree, the longest living longevity studies and well-being studies have social connection as a crucial component to people feeling positive and living longer and all those things, right? So all good, but what happens, and I'm speaking as a parent that's similar to this, is I'm in high school and there was not a phone to be had, right? There was not there was the one stuck on the wall with the curtain.
Right. Oh, the quad. Yeah. That nobody had in their pockets. Yeah.
No one had in their pockets. And you spent a lot of time on those phones and fought your parents for phone time and, all those things because you were trying to connect outside of school hours. Right. Mm-hmm. And that I'm going to just make an assumption if this person has a kid who's 20, they're at least 40.
Oh yeah. Gotta be at least. That's
a
safe guess. Yeah. I think.
Yeah, but probably older than that. So having a very different socializing experience growing up, and then take this sort of, I would also ask this person, they're in a unique experience from whatever maybe their high school or their smaller community, if they lived in one, or what was their neighborhood like, finding out all of the ways that their socialization was really lent itself to them feeling more and more connected to people and building sort of long-term connections or whatever the background is. Okay. So I would do that first. I would really help this person understand their experience and make it clear, because my guess is no matter what you have done to try to recreate the good stuff you had from your childhood, if your kid is 20 years old, they did not have it. Because if you're in a suburb in America, you maybe have a bunch of parents who have agreed that it's okay to let their kids hang out late at night outside, but that is going to be more the exception than the rule. Whereas when we were growing up, that was 100% the rule.
Yeah.
That you just wandered.
Yeah.
In parking lots. Have you guys seen Sandlot? That's real. Sure. And there were some downsides to that, but there was many, many social upsides. Some of the downsides might have been like excessive bullying, obviously, or some dangerous situations. The upsides were navigating, communicating, dealing with weird hierarchies, like managing yourself in time and space and, independence. And a lot of the sort of the confidence that came from that, I think a lot of people underestimate when a kid is just doing things on their own and how much that competency, that's a really important developmental stage, is gained. Whereas a kid who's maybe indoors a lot more, social situations are usually planned, like play dates or sports or or clubs where it is really time managed and adults are always present. Some of that work can happen, but a lot of the free range stuff just doesn't. And so, unless they lived on a special street that everyone is awesome and really gave a lot of attention to the kids to have some of this, it's just likely there wasn't a lot of that competence being built. So yeah. That was a long way to say, you got to first start with understanding it is not you. And that's hard. As parents, we struggle to not see ourselves, even though we may not consciously be thinking this, seeing ourselves or what we got or didn't get in our kids, and our deep, deep hope that our kids will have everything they need, right? Mm-hmm. And we don't always appreciate how we got those things, or that someone's just really different, right? So we got a kid here who's different. It sounds like different from whoever's written this. I thought it feels like a dad, but probably because it is. Okay,
I think so, it is. Yeah, I think
probably
so.
Michael Sr. is what we're thinking.
Yeah,
okay.
Sure.
And it sounds like this kid is different, right? We suspected autism. They check. That would be an interesting thing to revisit. Let me just throw that out. Just really high functioning.
Is it because we're better at detecting or not detecting? Are we better at evaluating that now than we used to be? And that's why you do a double check? I always wondered about that because it feels like the spectrum stuff.
He's only 20, so this wasn't long ago.
Yeah.
And what I would say is, it's not like it's exponentially better, but I think we're definitely moving towards the better identification of folks on the higher functioning side and recognizing the different ways that presents itself.
Gotcha.
Because I've met with a lot of young adults who are like, I am convinced I'm on the spectrum, but the tests say I'm not. My family just cannot won't even hear it. And you're like, okay, well, let's go through. And so we'll go through some of the basic testing. And what you find is they just score higher on it's maybe not in the range, but they're definitely closer to where a full evaluation would probably diagnose them on the spectrum.
Yeah.
So we got these sort of kids in that space, a lot of them pretty introverted and really struggle with the social connecting, like not knowing the social rules. As I'm reading this, I'm just hearing of a kid who does not understand the social rules. And when they attempt to do them, it can backfire, and so as the parent, you're watching this kid isolate. What you were actually maybe seeing is this is Michael Jr.'s sort of comfort zone. And maybe his comfort zone is one person, right? And one person's the girlfriend, or maybe one friend that they don't have to do a ton of things. It's just going to look different. So I'd get really curious is this kid actually suffering, or do you think he's suffering because he is not as social as you are, or getting the benefits you think he should be getting? And it's possible he is suffering. So that would be another line of inquiry of just tell me how he's functioning. Here we got a college student who's getting straight A's and is willing to go to therapy and has some anxiety going on. That's the thing the thing that probably needs the most help here is that. I think and I know this personally, I will be like, how about we get more social, everyone?
Yeah.
And they're like, I'm on Minecraft with like 200 people that I love. And I'm like, okay.
I post on Enneagram. How much more social do you need me to be?
I know. And so it really is a big generational gap. And when some of these kids need guidance, but really one of the challenges everybody faces is having a third place. You have homework or homeschool. And where is the bowling alley, or where's the place you go? And for most people, that's going to be online. But if we there's just not a lot for kids to do. Like they're sort of used to be, because there had to be.
No.
Parents would have killed them if they were home all the time. Like it would never have worked.
Yeah.
There wasn't enough good TV, let's be honest, right?
Yeah, that's the truth.
So I would focus a little bit on this part where he talks about the anxiety and the catastrophizing. And so it sounds like kids calling home from college and sharing what's going on with school and his negative experiences. And then parents are worried how others perceive him. So that sentence right there, which we worry affects how others perceive him. Okay.
Yeah.
So the best thing we could do here is not try to change Michael Jr. I know it's so tempting. It's so tempting to still think you're in charge of his outcomes. But you've been done for years. There's so little a parent can actually do to create a kid's personality. Like it's legitimately none of our business. Like we can't do it. And you know this when you have more than one child, or you've been around more than one child.
Yeah.
That is genetically supposed to be similar. Their personality, their proclivities, just some of the mannerisms, things they do. There is so little a parent has to influence over it.
And parents get such a false positive if their kids seem to align with who they are so well that they think that's them doing it. It's not you doing it. I mean, certainly nurture has a role, but they all come different. I had 3 children. All of them couldn't have been more different. And we were the same people the whole time. But they are completely different human beings in all their own little unique ways. Some wonderful ways, some hard to deal with ways. Like it's just the way of it.
External factors and
Yes. And
our children were all the same, all identical.
Well, and actually, Brian, you're a great person to ask this because you didn't have another kid to try to mold.
Right.
Did you feel like there was extra concern or like there was so much more pressure for your kid, on your kid by you guys? I don't know if you're ready to admit that yet, but
this would be a better question for him. I don't think so. I mean, I don't feel like we had a quota in mind for how much molding we wanted to do with a kid. We just basically Gina and I talked about this the other day. We're proud of how much he always knew that we were there for him, and we always guided him when we saw that he needed guidance, but we were very quick to kind of let him discover and make his own mistakes for the rest of the time. And he's made some mistakes, and not nearly the kind that I made as a kid, thank goodness. But we didn't. I feel like we could have spent a lot more time molding, and I think we didn't. I think we're happy that we didn't. If that makes sense.
Yes. Okay, everyone, be Brian. That's the answer. No, but that is
like
the right
apple,
theory.
a shiny apple now.
Yeah, here's my shiny apple. This is the theoretically be Brian, like this idea that you do not make it about you, and so
yeah, right.
This is I told this story before how I was trying to make one of my children play baseball because I love baseball, and he has the most amazing left arm throw. You guys, I still can't even talk about it. Sometimes it's so beautiful, and he really didn't want to. And, COVID had started, and so we didn't know what was going on. The coach kept saying, well, we're going to keep trying, and maybe by this summer, whatever. And I was talking to my kid about it, and came and just put his hands on my shoulders, looked me in the eye, and he said, Mom, you're going to have to live through a different kid. This isn't working.
That's
and
great.
I was like, shut up. Where's your brother? Anyway. And so this, everyone has this, right? So mine might have been through sports, and mine is definitely through sociality. Like, I really like people and I want to be around people. And my kids are like, how about we just hang out with just 3 of us? And I'm like, no, we need more people. And they're just different. They're just different kids and different people. And so I want to, first of all, let Michael Sr., I assume, know that I hear you. Like, this is really tricky. But I think one thing you might be doing is not quite checking yourself. And what happens if you do? If you check yourself a little bit here, and that differentiating you from this child who's different. He has a different kind of brain. And my guess is if he got the right therapist who could have a nice chat about the symptoms, and at the end, I'll give you guys a link to the RADS test, RAADS.
Ooh.
And it's something you just do quickly online. And it gives you a sense of like where you are in terms of looking at, you might need further testing for autistic.
Rad sounds like a radiation test, but I guess not, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It is definitely not.
Okay.
Anyway, but I've found a lot of people find it really helpful because they feel this way. They feel this just like, I need help understanding this. And then they don't know quite what to do. And so then we do this test. And when the score comes back and is showing us like, oh, you're really in subclinical levels, right? So this idea is it's really helping us find folks that are, it's called escape diagnosis, meaning they aren't meeting enough of the criteria, but they're still living with some of the symptoms that make stuff hard. So going back to my harsh reality check for this person is don't make it about you. No, is this idea that you are going to make this so much harder on yourself and your kid if you don't check yourself first. And that checking of yourself first is just being really clear, like how much of this is about me? How am I getting activated when my child says this or that? Because there may be a part of this guy that's just like, I just wish he was normal. And you know what? That's okay. It's okay that you've thought that. You aren't a bad person. You just wish he was more like you, because then it would be easier. And that's fair. And most of what parenting is and being a kid and growing up is to mourn the loss of your parents not being everything you needed them to be, or your kid not being what you thought you needed from a kid. That's okay. But to have that underlying things for a long time can be really problematic. So I'm being a little harsher than I normally would be, because maybe this helps somebody else. I don't see all this actually in the email so much, but I'm going a little deeper here, because what's helpful, and this is why actually diagnosing can feel so relieving for people, is they're just like, this explains some things. This is why we've had this disconnect. So maybe dad needs some of that too, to be like, okay, there is stuff going on here. And I can tell you with the email, if it's all accurate and that's what's going on, there is definitely stuff going on for this kid, right? And it's a challenge and a struggle. So can you worry and love them and care about them? Yes. Can you do that? And also make sure you're not trying to make them live a life that's familiar to you? Yes, you can do that. Because what I know is when I work with these kids and when I work with any adult who had parents, which is everyone, that there is such a difference between the folks whose parents had an idea of who they should be and always held them to some invisible thing. They felt it. They maybe didn't know it was happening, but they felt it. Versus the kids who are like, I mean, it was like my parents were just excited to see who I was going to become. Right?
Right.
That energy is a massive difference in how we feel belonging, our sense of self. So when we talk about parents molding their kids, this is actually where we do it. We do it in their self-esteem. We do it in, are they going to be abandoned? Are they going to be loved for who they are? Can they be vulnerable and real? That's where we do our molding. Where we don't do it is that they're top of the class and the star athlete and we're just like me in high school or play the sport Wendy wants them to play.
Yeah,
right, exactly. Be me. Be the me in high school that I didn't get to be.
Yes, be the better me.
I will say, from a physical standpoint, though, Elliot looks more like Abraham every day. Like that kid is freaking me out. I saw pictures of him the other day doing your thing, and he just is starting to look like your oldest. It's weird to me.
I know. They're all so big. And then Scott. I mean, yeah, that's Freudian because Pete looks just like Scott.
Yeah, and
I'm like,
and he's a little like he's also kind of the weirdo, which fits. So
yeah, and he's a rail and doesn't care about food, and it's a problem.
Yeah,
because he's got 6'9".
Yeah, he's gonna be real tall.
And guess what, everyone? Not gonna play a sport. No. So Wendy's gonna have to continue to do her own therapy.
Yep.
Handle this.
You're never going to get your sports superstar. It's just not going to happen, you know?
Yeah.
I know. I'm telling you.
They all could, though. These kids are beasts. You should see your oldest. My gosh, he could bench press a car. He's just a monster.
I know. They're really big. They still like run into me and try to knock me over, and it's dangerous.
Yeah, it's actually, your life is in danger now because they just are so freaking big.
I know, but they still act like they're 4, and so they're like, trying to snuggle me or think it's funny to like walk close to me. And I'm like, okay, well.
It doesn't work anymore. It was great when you were little. Yeah. Well, I think good advice all around. I hope this opens up. I just get this feeling that this is more, because I do this. I think all parents do this. When our kids get older, we want to still be the voice of reason for them. We want to be the one they listen to the most. And when we see them make mistakes,
when there are issues,
yeah, we want to fix everything sometimes, and we can't. Mm-hmm. So this sounds like one of those deals. And if it's any consolation, Michael, possibly Senior, we can commiserate. We know how this feels.
100%. And I'm telling you, the future. I sent the RADS thing so you can. People can access that.
Grab it.
And I that might just be helpful for both junior and senior to take it so you can see the difference in your scores. I find that that's actually sometimes helpful. So like a client will say, okay, I'm going to take this, and I also take it. I am clearly not on the spectrum. I do not, you guys maybe don't know that it's clearly, but I am not. And we will do the test together because they're like, well, am I autistic enough? And I was like, I need you to look at my score. Mm-hmm. And then I'm on the floor. Like I don't have any of those symptoms. And they are like one away from go get tested. Right. Mm-hmm. And there's something about knowing you're in subclinical area that maybe you don't need the full diagnosis, but you do start needing the ways to manage and the help and the support. So there's that piece. And then there's one other thing I forgot we didn't mention. I know we're wrapping up, but is the anxiety component. So I'm looking at this kid's sort of list of things here, and I know I'm both saying, hey, back out of this and also help him. So I hear it. Backing out of it being your thing is the advice there, but the helping might be, he's willing to go do therapy, and, you can just ask about the catastrophizing. Is that something he's talked about? Because any good therapist is going to pick up on the anxiety, right? That seems like that's a fairly obvious one. And then the real result of, anxiety and having a history of panic attacks is like our nervous system is getting pretty jangled, and then depression can occur. So whether it's showing up now, it is something for them to be aware of. So him having a professional that's helping him with all of this and even understanding the subclinical autism stuff would be really, really helpful. So encouraging him to get his help is powerful. And then the second component, so encourage him to get his help. And the second part, just be excited for him. Like joy in his joy. I get it's hard when he's coming in with the catastrophizing, right? And so maybe learning how to talk about that in ways that aren't, causing more challenges for him or yourselves, but recognizing like this worry for him is never going away, right? Have you stopped worrying about your kids yet?
No, you worry all the time.
Yeah, forever. It's forever. Yeah. But in their business, making their life harder is a different story. So
yes.
Right. But also you are finding joy in what your kids are doing. Like it's a balance. So recognizing like you're doing an amazing job. I'm just nitpicking for the sake of other parents that might need to hear some of this. But this balance of these two things is what makes this so stinking difficult to be parents.
I feel like there's an added twist to this, which maybe is a different topic for a different day. But the twist now is a lot of the worries I have for my kids are about some circumstances out of their control.
Yeah. Right. I mean, there's a whole world of worrying about your kids outside of something that they have an effect on, something they can even control.
Yeah. And maybe there was a time, maybe this has always been true. So my parents had worries about me that the world would cause that had nothing to do with me. Maybe they did, and I just wasn't aware of it or whatever. It's entirely possible, but it's impossible for me now to, for example, just to see the cost of living, cost of insurance, cost of raising a little baby, these sorts of things, and not worry about Nick all the time in those contexts, because those are directly affecting him, and he doesn't have a ton of control over some of those things.
Right.
So I'm sure that my parents had those. I just don't know what they were because it didn't feel the same.
Right.
So there's.
Well, it's also why like boomer generally have been fairly a neglectful version of parenting, because they didn't have as many worries. Yeah. I think, they also just are like, I'll give you something to cry about it, problematic stuff,
Yeah.
But I do think like more awareness and more access to information, and like it's changed how parents are parents. And so, that would be an awesome email if anyone had something along those lines to write in about what are some things. It could be about parenting or just generally how you're handling things that feel out of your control, because that's a big one.
Yep. Well, best of luck to Michael Jr. and all the juniors and seniors in your life. All right.
Yes, all the juniors and seniors. Yep. Okay, so I got a funny story for you, and then the thing, No Better You, KNOBETTERU.com. Go there and give me your email.
Yeah.
Okay, good. I got that out of the way. All right. We're on our last 2 weeks of that, and so some new stuff's coming up, which I'm excited for.
Awesome.
But I'm going to tell you something funny. So the other day, it's spring break for my kids, and I bailed, which is funny. Anyway, the first 2 days we hung out, and I made this stupid bingo card that had like a bunch of random things on it that they could or should do, right? So it was like, go to a museum. We went and saw Swiss Beats and Alicia Keys have an art gallery exhibit in Minneapolis that was so amazing. So we went and saw that.
There's no music, or like they're not.
No.
Oh, interesting.
No, they're art collectors, and so everyone was a living Black artist that they had in the exhibition. It was amazing. So really fun. So we did that. We crossed that off, right? And then we're watching Stranger Things, which is very fun to rewatch, right? So you got to watch a scary horror TV show with your mom. So that was one. And then one was to go to Goodwill and buy crap and refurbish it or fix it or do something with it. So this is hilarious. Pete comes up to me. I'm eating breakfast. He brings a portable speaker, puts it next to me, and then all of a sudden I hear like the old shh sound like of a record player. Mm-hmm. Do you guys know Marty Robbins, the Big Iron? Do you know this?
Yeah,
song?
Big Iron, Big Iron.
Yeah.
I love that song. Yeah, that's it's funny you brought up two things that remind me of Fallout today. The Rads test is from Fallout. Rads is a thing.
Oh, yeah.
And Big Iron is featured in Fallout New Vegas.
Is that in the game?
Yeah.
Oh, fun.
For sure it is, yes. Yeah. Anyway, and it's crackling, and what he did is he bought a record player and fixed it and figured out how to stream it somehow. I don't know how he did this, but whatever. And so he's just walking around the house playing random records, and apparently the kid bought Big Iron.
That's awesome. Big Iron is it's such a cool song. It's got such a vibe to it. There's a version, there's a cover by Coulter Wall that's relatively new that is such an amazing version of that song. You have to seek it out if you haven't heard it. Oh, it's so good. I love that song. Love it.
Very cool. So hopefully spring break continues to go well. I wrote things like clean the whole house.
Yeah.
We'll see if they do.
Yeah. Right.
I'm sure that'll go well.
Can I make a wager on that one?
Yeah.
It's gonna be 0.
Seems unlikely. Well, I'm looking.
It's gonna be nay.
I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next couple of days. Today, I don't know if it'll. Is it? Are we? I don't know what we're all doing. What is everyone doing? I know we're having a big.
Together.
We're doing a dinner, but between then, I think we're visiting mom at the same times, different times. I don't know what's happening.
Yes. Everyone want to hear about it?
No, we'll talk about it off air. Have fun. Tell Misha to put some foam in that room, and we'll see you next time.
All right. Thanks.
Bye
Bye.
now.
Bye.
Okay. Get her out of there. Okay. Cool. We did it. Let's be done with this here show. We've got a lot of stuff coming up, as Brian mentioned earlier. Coverville today at noon Mountain Time, so be watching for that. Core at 1 p.m. today. John's back. He was on vacation, went to SeaWorld, did a bunch of stuff. He's now back. There's lots to talk about. I think maybe even all 3 of us, at least 2 of us, have been playing Assassin's Creed Shadows. Come see what we think of it. Spoiler, I think it's rad. Playdate tomorrow, 9 a.m. for this show. If you're a patron, and otherwise show up for this because it'll be live. We'll be playing Jackbox games, and we'll be starting at 9 a.m. to around 11 a.m. tomorrow. Look forward to seeing you all there. 1:30 p.m. for Play Retro tomorrow. And Film Sack this weekend, we're doing A Fish Called Wanda, a classic and a rare comedy. We don't usually do comedies, but this one's different. It's on a different shelf.
One of my 3 or 4 favorite comedies that is hard. It's going to be hard for me to poke anything about. We watched it last night. There are a few things I can poke holes about, but it's classic.
Yeah, I love that.
Amazon
movie.
Prime is where you can watch it with limited interruptions.
Oh, that's great. I paid the extra $2, even though it hurt me to do it.
I know. I can't do it. I can't be like, here's the thing that you've been getting. Oh, $2 more to keep getting the thing that
I know. It's an absolutely shit move, and I caved, and I did it.
It is.
I hate
Plus,
ads.
how am I going to keep up with what's going on with Capital One credit cards?
That's a good point.
If I don't get to see their commercials.
Yeah, you need to know what's happening with those Ozempic, the cards, some kind of boner pill.
Right,
all the bullshit ads they have on there. I freaking hate them.
Yeah.
Bring back, do Mrs. Butterworth or something. Just give me something from my growing up. Let's do Honeycomb's Big. Yeah. Let's have that commercial. They don't do those anymore. It's all medicines and invest in gold. F off, modern television. All right. That is it for us today. That'll do it. We're out of here. We got to play a song, though. So you got one there lined up?
I do. Angela, a.k.a. Cosmic Labrie, wrote in, said, hey, snow and blower. Haven't had any snow since I got my snowblower. Thanks for reminding me. March 27th will be my 47th trip around the sun. Well, happy birthday, Angela. I've been listening to TMS since episode 1, but somehow I've never put in a song request until now. I'd love a Todd Rundgren cover, specifically Couldn't I Just Tell You by Susanna Hoffs and Matthew Sweet. If you can't swing it, feel free to pick another. Just please no bang on the drum all day, because F that song. Yeah, it's no kidding. I'm kind of tired of that one myself. Can't wait to see everyone's lovely faces at TMS Vegas next month. Yay! Love, Angela. P.S. Does Scott still have Brian's do Careless Whisper rendition on the soundboard?
I definitely do. First this. Whoops.
Happy birthday to you.
That's for your birthday. And then let's find that Ibit clip. It is under the Ibit collection. All right, here we go.
The Ibit collection.
I don't actually call it that, but
you should.
I should. All right, here it is. Yep, this is it. No, different one. That's a good one, though. I'll play the whole thing.
That is a good one.
Yeah, it's not it, though.
I think that's Mario.
Is it this one? No, I have a few of these.
That's Match Game.
Yeah.
It's like Brian Ibbett. Name that Brian Ibbett tune.
Yeah, there's a few.
I don't know what you're.
No, that's not it.
There was
no. Hold on. Where the hell is it? That's not it. Is this it?
We're doing Falcon.
I don't know. Maybe. Hold on. Maybe I'd put it under Brian. This is the problem. I got to go through all this stuff.
Yeah.
Do. Where is it? Maybe I'd put it under Careless Whisper.
Careless Whisper, maybe? Yeah.
Let's try it. Nope. All right, shit. I can't find it. Well. I know I have it. I will find it. I just need to name it better. It's labeled terribly.
Oh my God.
Anyway.
All right. Anyway, after that, you know what? Worth it. Absolutely worth it to not find it and hear all those other things.
Sure.
This is Couldn't I Just Tell You, performed by Matthew Sweet and Susanna Hoffs. Wish they wouldn't have stopped at the 90s for their Under the Covers project, but there you go. Here, this was from Volume 2, their 70s edition from 2009. Here is Couldn't I Just Tell You.
All right, I may have found it. Let's just see if this is it. Come on, play. No, that's Jury.
Nope, that's Verbs.
No. Okay, one more. No, one more.
Duty schmooty.
No! I thought I had it.
Oh, yeah, so much do.
Hold on, one more try. No, shit! All right. I don't have it yet. I'll find it. One day we'll play it. Here's that song. Thanks, everybody, for listening. If you're not coming to play with us tomorrow, please be here Monday. We'll be back with a regular show as we careen toward TMS Vegas. All right? Thanks for being here, and we'll see you then.
Roses are red, and I love to dance. When I'm looking for great shows, I go to frogpants.com.
Where's Todd?